is very tired because we did not sleep last night. No sleeps. Tiffany. What I was going to say was I don't think it could ever replace the other stuff for me, but it's a fun little, like, you know, sometimes use it thing. I put it on today because I'm taking her to her class, and it's just an easy thing to go with without an extra carrier, you know? We live walking distance from her class, so, you know. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, next time we go to Disneyland, this might be a great thing to wear to Disneyland because I wouldn't have to bring an extra carrier. You know what I mean? Are you ready for baby number 2? We would love to have a second baby someday. Hopefully we'll be able to give her a second. That would be really wonderful. We would love that. Yeah, we would. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? Nature does its thing. Sometimes people are able to, sometimes they're not. We're older, so, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Morning, Ray. How are you? Alright. What's meant to be is meant to be. Exactly. Is that the overalls with the built-in carrier? It is the overalls with the built-in carrier. How cool is that? It's got all these buckles and everything. We have been struggling for 24 hours, this poor thing. She just can't sleep. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Okay, let's try. Hopefully she'll stay asleep now. Yeah, that's what my mom said too. Definitely teeth, and you know, she's growing so much. Definitely a growth spurt. Okay. Okay. Shh. 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 Yeah, sad little whimpers. Very sad. Very, very sad little whimpers. Heartbreaking. I know, it's so cute, right? How dare Amanda make a suggestion? I know. One of my niece's teeth finally poked through recently. We have 3 teeth through, but obviously more are coming. Okay. 3 teeth. Whew. 3 teeth. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 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 She seems alright now. Yeah, of all the comments to flag, that one wasn't really necessary. TikTok hates to see me come. Okay. Okay. Shh, shh, shh. All right. Let's get into it. We were part of the way through chapter 7 yesterday. Let's see how far we get. She's so long, it's crazy. I know, she's so long, it is crazy. It is weird that they're so close in age. How does froth milk make such a difference for coffee? I know, tell me about it. Tell me about it, Vicky. You wouldn't think it would make such a difference, but boy does it ever. Boy does it ever. All right, here we go. Chapter 7. We're on page 134 for anyone keeping track. The blockade was an overwhelming sight. A dozen police cars were parked in a row across the street to prevent pedestrians and traffic from going any further. Beyond the cars, dozens and dozens of police officers were scattered throughout the vacated area. Connor tried sneaking past the barricade, but an officer blocked him. "Whoa, whoa, whoa," the officer said. "Where's the fire?" "Please, you have to let me go through," Connor said. "It's an emergency." "Sorry, no one is allowed past this point," the officer said. Oops. Glasses. The less they put in, the frothier. Yes. And also different milks froth differently too. Hey, Tiffany. Yeah, I know. That's what they're telling people. Sorry, I skipped something by accident. "Sorry, no one's allowed past this point," the officer said. "They're clearing up a nasty gas leak by the library. Isn't safe." "Yeah, I know that's what they're telling people. My sister's the one at the library. I need to get to her before someone harms her." "Young man, the library's been evacuated," the officer said. "Oh, no worries, Tiffany. We started a little early today." "I promised your sister, wherever she was, she's been moved to a safe location." "No, you don't understand," Connor yelled. "She's the one causing this. You need to let me through so that I can help her." As if Connor were on autopilot, he pushed the officer out of his way and squeezed between the rows of police vehicles and made a run for the library before he even realized what he was doing. Unfortunately, he was only half a block past the barricade when he was tackled to the pavement by another police officer. Connor fought the officer off with all his might, determined to reach the library. It took 2 more officers to keep him pinned to the ground. They handcuffed him and threw him into the back seat of the nearest vehicle. "Come on, you've got to let me go," Connor pleaded. "The whole world might be in danger if you don't let me find my sister." "You're out of your mind, kid," an officer said and slammed the car door. "Stay in there and chill out." It all happened so fast that none of Connor's friends knew what to do. They were vastly outnumbered by the police officers standing nearby. If they tried to intervene now, they would all get arrested. So Connor looked through the window at his friends standing helplessly on the sidewalk and he mouthed, "Sorry. I miss caffeine and oh, did you give up caffeine for the year or something?" Now that he'd been detained in the backseat of a police car, the odds of finding Alex had seriously plummeted. One impulsive move to save his sister might have cost them everything. Suddenly, the ground began to vibrate. Everyone in the area was worried that it was an earthquake, with the vibration accompanied by the sound of roaring engines. Connor, his friends, and the police officers all looked down 38th Street and discovered a long row of beige Hummers speeding toward them. Oh, wow, tomorrow. Big day. No caffeine for 2 months. Jeez Louise, that sounds awful. I mean, I'm sure it's for a good cause, but like, I don't know if I could survive that. No caffeine for 2 months? What would I do? How would I live? I don't know that I would. I don't know that. You're a braver woman than I am. You're a braver woman than me. That's what it comes down to. Yes, good luck. You know, pretty sure that's like a routine thing now, so not really too much concern. You know, it's like sleep a lot. It's been a struggle more than the food. Yeah, I mean, I would give up food before caffeine and coffee real easily. The only thing that, oh, that's fair, Susan. The only thing that I think would be equally hard to caffeine for me would be dairy. Yeah, it would be hard for me to give up either caffeine or dairy. But I guess if I had to, I would, like if it was for health, maybe. I don't know. Morning, Jillian. We're barely just a page in, so you're all good. The police allowed the Hummers through the barricade, and they parked side by side in an impressively straight line. Swarms of United States Marines emerged from the vehicles in camouflage uniforms, their weapons at the ready. An older man with gray hair and broad shoulders stepped out of the first Hummer, and all the Marines lined up behind him. Unlike the soldiers, the older man wore a green dress uniform decorated with medals. He also wore dark sunglasses and was smoking a cigar. He scanned the area like he had just stepped into a war zone, and then he directed his stern gaze at all the police officers. Right, which one of you is Commissioner Healy? He asked. An older African-American man in a navy blue suit stepped out of the group of police officers. General Wilson, I presume, the commissioner said. Thank you for coming here, sir. The commissioner and the general shook hands just a few feet from the police vehicle that Connor sat inside. Thanks to a slightly rolled down window, he could hear every word the men were saying. He ducked down into the back seat so they wouldn't see him eavesdropping. Commissioner, would you please tell me what the heck is going on in your city? The general said. What could possibly warrant the president's decision to put boots on the ground? I wish we had more answers for you, General, but we are still trying to figure that out, Commissioner Healy said. Long story short, the library is under attack. 2 of my officers responded to a distress call this morning and discovered a young girl with, well, strange abilities. She caused lightning to appear and somehow made the lion statues on the library steps come to life. The lions are currently guarding the library and attacking anyone who tries to get near it. Once we were able to obtain photographic proof, we contacted the White House. Interestingly, the general didn't question the commissioner's report, as Connor had expected. All right, where's the girl now? The general said. As far as we know, she's still inside the library, the commissioner said. And what she's doing in there is anyone's guess. General Wilson took a long drag on his cigar, and he exhaled as he absorbed this information. After a moment, he turned on his heel and addressed the Marines behind him. All right, soldiers, it's time to get to work. Good morning, Brittany, the general ordered. I want the barricade around the library extended 8 blocks in each direction. Contact the Pentagon and have them establish a no-fly zone above Manhattan. I don't want anything leaking to the press. I want snipers stationed on every roof around the library. We take our position at the base of the steps and we'll open fire on the statues and try to take them out. With them, we'll find the girl inside. The commissioner was appalled by what he heard. General, you cannot shoot the lion statues. They're national landmarks. General Wilson removed his sunglasses and looked the commissioner in the eye. Thank you for your input, Commissioner, but your little backyard circus is now a matter of national security, he said. I'll decide what measures I should or should not take to ensure that your city stays in one piece. If you have a problem with that, then you'll be placed on the other side of the barricade faster than I can say I love New York. The commissioner didn't argue any further. The general nodded to his Marines and spread out like cockroaches to fulfill his orders. The general returned to his Hummer and was driven up Fifth Avenue to get a closer look at the library. The commissioner and the police officers watched the Hummer drive off. Jack snuck past the barricade and quietly opened the back door of the police car that Connor was sitting in. Come on, Jack whispered. Quick, while they're looking away. Once Connor had regrouped with his friends, they raced down Fifth Avenue and ducked into the first alley that they could find. With one slice of his axe, Jack freed Connor from the handcuffs binding him. Connor walked around the alley in a huff and angrily kicked the side of a dumpster. "This is getting more difficult by the second," he moaned. "Yeah, well, at least we know where your sister is," Goldilocks reminded him. "That puts us in a lot better position than we were in." "Yeah, but we still have to get to her, though," Connor said. "These guys won't care if Alex is being controlled by a witch or not. They're going to kill her the moment they think she's a threat. We're going to get to her before they do. I just don't have the slightest idea how to do that. I'm sorry, Jack, but no amount of imagination or positive thinking is going to help us get past the NYPD, the United States Marines, and 2 possessed lion statues." Bree, Jack, Goldilocks, and Red didn't even try to persuade him otherwise this time. They paced around in silence as they tried to brainstorm a possible plan. Their train of thought was interrupted by the sound of someone clearing their throat. Someone who wasn't in their group. They looked up and saw a homeless man. The guy from earlier was standing just a few feet away. "Hey, forgive the intrusion," he said. "I saw your little scuffle with the fuzz back there. I know they didn't want to listen to you, but I'd like to help if you'd let me." Sorry dude, I'm out of cash," Connor said. "This time I'm offering my services free of charge," the homeless man said. "I know I might not look like much, but I know how to get to your sister." "No offense, but I sincerely doubt that," Connor said. "We need to get inside the public library, and every entrance is being guarded by the U.S. Marines and 2 man-eating statues." A sly smile spread across the homeless man's face. "That's where you're wrong," he said. "They aren't guarding every entrance." Dun dun dun. Hey, Heather. Delightful. Chapter 8. The Calvin Coolidge Express. What? Page 142. Per General Wilson's orders, the U.S. Marines began evacuating every building within a 10-block radius of the New York Public Library. Watching the soldiers move from building to building and forcing people out of their homes and businesses made Connor feel like he was watching a scene from an apocalyptic movie. Judging from the looks on the New Yorkers' faces, everyone knew the situation wasn't a gas leak. Something far worse was happening in Midtown Manhattan. The homeless man led Connor and his friends covertly from alley to alley, careful not to attract the attention of the Marines. With every step, Connor wondered if they were doing the right thing by following him, or if they were just putting their trust in a complete lunatic. Where are you taking us?" Connor asked. "Shh," the homeless man said, and he placed a finger over his mouth. "If they catch us sneaking around, we're never gonna get to your sister." "Sorry, where are you taking us?" Connor whispered. "We'll go into a subway entrance on the corner of 40th and Broadway." "We're taking the subway?" Connor asked. "But a train won't get us inside the library." "You don't need a train where we're going," the homeless man said. And the man dashed across the street to a huge pile of trash. The others followed him. They moved from building to building very slowly and only crossed the street when they were certain there were no Marines watching. By the time they reached the intersection of 40th and Broadway, Midtown Manhattan was practically a ghost town, and it was getting dark out. After a quick huddle behind a large delivery truck, the homeless man raced across the intersection at the southwest corner and hurried down the steep steps into the subway station. A moment later, he popped his head up and whistled to the other. "Hey, subway station's empty," he called to them. "Hurry, while the coast is clear." Connor and his friends joined him underground. Their footsteps echoed off the station's tile walls. The homeless man jumped over the turnstile to avoid paying, and the others copied him. Red was the least agile of the bunch, and her gown got caught in the revolving turnstile. Goldilocks had to slice off a layer of her dress just to set her free. "Now everyone follow me to the end of the platform," the homeless man said. "Wait," Connor said. "We aren't going any further until you tell us exactly where we're headed." "Kid, I promise you, it's all gonna make sense once we're there, but until then, you're just gonna have to trust me." The homeless man then reached the end of the long platform and jumped down onto the train tracks. "He can't be serious," Bree said. "We're not actually going to follow him down there, are we?" "I mean, what choice do we have?" Connor asked. "You don't want to stop now. We're almost there," the homeless man said. And Connor, Bree, and Jack jumped off the platform and then offered their hands to help Goldilocks and Hero, but Red took their hand first. The homeless man removed a flashlight from inside his coat and sprinted down the tunnel train. You might want to hurry. Trains usually run through here every 10 minutes, he warned. Fearing a speeding train would hit them at any moment, Connor and his friends ran after the homeless man as fast as they could. The further they went, the darker the tunnel became. Soon the shaky light from the homeless man's flashlight was all that was keeping them from tripping over the train tracks. Suddenly, the homeless man made a quick left turn and disappeared from sight. When the others caught up with him, they entered a different tunnel, one that they would have never spotted on their own. Unlike the previous one, this tunnel had no visible cables or train tracks on the ground. "Welcome to the Calvin Coolidge Express," the homeless man announced, or at least what's finished of it. "The what?" Connor asked, and the homeless man chuckled. "Don't worry, very few people even know this exists," he said. "In 1928, construction began on a new transit system to take New Yorkers from Staten Island all the way to Central Park. The following year, the Great Depression hit, and construction came to a halt. Later, the need for steel was so high during World War II that the plans were scrapped altogether. By the time the war ended, the Calvin Coolidge Express was completely forgotten." "Well, whatever this is, it smells awful," Red said, and she took the can of Febreze out of her purse and sprayed the air around them. "Yeah, unfortunately, the tunnels were built right by the sewers, but you get used to the smell after a while," the guy said. "Why would you bring us to an abandoned subway tunnel?" Connor asked. "Because one of the many stops planned for the Calvin Coolidge Express was Bryant Park," the man explained. "The city didn't want to obstruct the park, so they decided to let them place the stop at the basement of the New York Public Library." Connor's face lit up so much that he practically glowed in the tunnel. He heard the man loud and clear, but it sounded too good to be true. "I'm sorry, are you saying we can get into the library from this tunnel?" "Like I said before, they aren't guarding every entrance," the homeless man reiterated. "See why I didn't tell you where we were going? You wouldn't have believed a bum like me unless you saw it with your own eyes." Connor was embarrassed to admit it to himself, but the homeless man was right. If he had been just a tiny more critical of their guide, they would have been rounded up and sent away just like all the other New Yorkers in Midtown Manhattan. "I realize we haven't been properly introduced," he said. "I'm Connor Bailey, and these are my friends, Bree, Red, Jack, Goldie, and their son Hero. What's your name?" "The name's Rusty. Rusty Bassagarian," the homeless man said with a quick bow. "Thank you so much for leaving us here, Rusty," Connor said. "How did you even know this tunnel existed?" "Listen, you learn a lot about a city you live in when you're on the streets," Rusty said. Have you always been poor?" Red asked. "Red, don't be rude," Goldilocks reprimanded her. "No, listen, it's all right. I get that all the time," Rusty said. "Homelessness is a recent chapter for me. I used to live in Brooklyn, and I worked as a janitor at the Belvedere Castle in Central Park. A couple of months ago, I was fired, and I lost everything." "Why were you fired?" Jack asked. "Well, to put it bluntly, I saw something magical, and it changed my life forever." "Was it Hamilton?" Red asked. "I keep seeing signs all over the city. If he's anything like Shaky Fruit's ham head, well, I hope we really get the chance to meet him." The others all rolled their eyes and ignored her. "Now, earlier when I told you about the library, you mentioned it—" Sorry, wrong voice. "Earlier when you told us about the library, you mentioned it wasn't the first time you'd seen magic in this city," Bree said. I didn't think you were being serious, but now I'm really interested to hear about it." "Yes, Hamilton changed his life forever." "Aw." Rusty let out a deep sigh before telling them. Clearly, this was a difficult subject for him to talk about. "All right, it happened a few months ago when I used to work night shifts at the Belvedere Castle," he said. "I was in the middle of cleaning the joint when a strange vibration came out of nowhere. I figured it was just an earthquake, and then I went back to work. But when I got home, none of the morning news stations were reporting an earthquake. I was convinced that I had just imagined it, but a few weeks later, those same vibrations happened again." I know, Red's obsession with plays is hilarious, but honestly, Hamilton changed all of our lives. Also, in case you guys didn't know, Belvedere Castle is right near where Shakespeare in the Park happens. So, very exciting. "The second time, the vibrations were much stronger, and they lasted longer than the first. I called the police to report an active fault line, but they assured me it was just a subway running underneath the castle. However, when I got home, I looked at a map, and I saw that there aren't any subway lines that run beneath that part of Central Park. The rumbling didn't happen again until a few weeks later. The third rattled the castle so hard, it shattered the windows and left cracks all over the floor. I nearly knocked off the balcony that I was cleaning. I remembered it didn't feel anything like an earthquake or a train, but something enormous, like A hatching egg. I looked up, and that's when I saw it. Saw what? Connor asked. The best way I can describe it is a window to another world, Rusty said. For a brief second, I saw a huge forest of evergreen trees, a bright starry sky. It looked like something, well, kind of out of a storybook. Couldn't have been more different than the hustle of New York City. And then the window just disappeared as fast as it happened. Connor and Bree exchanged a grave look. Without any solid proof, they knew exactly what Rusty had witnessed. It was the bridge between the worlds starting to form. I went to the police station and I filed a report of what I saw. None of the police officers even believed me. A copy of the report was sent to the castle's property manager and, well, they fired me. They thought that I had caused the damage myself and was making up a ridiculous story to cover it up. Word about my police report spread all over town, so no one wanted to hire me after that. Oh my God, that's terrible, Bree said. Did the window ever appear again? I didn't see it again, but others have seen it appear all over New York City, Rusty said. But who and where? Connor asked. You can ask them yourself, Rusty said. Follow me. And they continued down the Calvin Coolidge Express line. Flickering lights came into view ahead, and soon they discovered a vast underground campsite. It was home to dozens and dozens of homeless people. I am glad that I already read this in Snow Days. Oh no. Tell the kids to sit down and read with us. Come on, kiddos. Pull up a chair. The tunnel was full of tents, sleeping bags, and furniture made from cardboard and newspapers. The homeless people were spread out throughout the camps in groups. Some were keeping warm over blazing trash cans, some played musical instruments, and some watched a man teaching a family of rats to play fetch. Rusty escorted Connor and his friends to a group who sat in the corner of the camp. This group included an older man in a blue suit, a woman in a fur coat, another woman in a Yankees baseball cap, and a third woman wearing a t-shirt that said, Read Banned Books, with a tinfoil hat wrapped around her head. They all gathered around a radio listening to a patchy broadcast. Hey, there you are, Bassagarian, the man said. We heard that they evacuated Midtown and we were worried you were going to get swept away. Connor and company, let me introduce you to my underground family, Rusty said. This is Jerry Oswald, that's Annette Crabtree, Judy Hollow, and Roxy Goldberg. I hope you aren't from the papers, Judy said, and she hid her face behind the collar of her fur coat. If I get included in another one of those savage Where Are They Now editorials, I will just die. For the 100th time, Judy, you aren't famous, Annette said. How dare you, Judy said. I was on Broadway. It was off-Broadway, and it was in the 80s, Roxy reminded her. No one's looking for you now, honey. No, they're not reporters. They're just trying to get inside the library, Rusty explained. But since we're passing through, I wanted them to hear your stories, about you know what? Rusty's friends were mortified as if he had just disclosed a nasty secret about them. They looked around the tunnel to make sure that no one heard them. Why do you keep bringing that up? Jerry asked. They're only going to mock us, just like the rest of the world, Judy said. Haven't we been through enough already? Annette asked. And Rusty's friends got to their feet and tried to walk away, but Connor and Bree blocked them from going too far. I know, his brain is so perfect. Chris writes directly to my soul. It's a direct line. Talk about a subway trip. Ooh. Hey, we're not here to insult you, Connor said. We just want to know what you saw and where you saw it. Please, it's going to help us answer a lot of questions. And look, the truth is, it's not like you have anything to lose, Red added. Despite the rude comment from his friends, the homeless people sensed the sincerity in Connor's voice. They looked at one another and they shrugged. Okay, well, I used to be a maid at the Plaza Hotel, Annette said. Late one night I went into the presidential suite for turn-down service and I was making the bed and the room started to shake. All the furniture was knocked to the floor, all the guests' belongings rolled everywhere, and next thing I knew, a forest appeared out of thin air. It hovered in the sitting room for a few minutes and then it vanished. The guests returned shortly after and saw all their belongings scattered all over the floor, and they accused me of stealing their things. They reported me to the hotel manager. I was fired. Nobody wants to hire a maid with a history of theft, so now I live here. I was on the verge of a comeback when I saw the forest, Judy said. I had just been cast as nurse number 7 in a soap opera called The Cute and the Complacent. Anyway, I was sitting in my dressing room at Rockefeller Center, that's where they filmed the show, anyway, when it was a terrible tremor that hit. The forest appeared over my vanity, and I screamed for help, but by the time the producer came to check on me, it was gone. They thought I was crazy, and they wrote my character out of the script. I become the laughing stock of the Screen Actors Guild, and I haven't been hired since. Yeah, well, I was a teller at the National Bank on 44th Street, Jerry said. I was working late one night and I went into the vault to store a deposit. Suddenly, the vault started to rattle. It was so powerful it knocked all the boxes open and money spilled out onto the floor. Of course, the commotion set off the alarm. The police arrived within the hour. Had they showed up just a moment sooner, they would have seen the forest for themselves, but no. My boss fired me for carelessness. I couldn't find another job. I told my wife what happened, but she didn't believe me. Threw me out of the house. Everyone turned to Roxy Goldberg, anxiously awaiting her story next. Why are you looking at me? I never saw a forest appear. I live down here because I hate paying taxes. Connor sensed that there was a pattern to the homeless people's encounters. He paced back and forth as he thought about the information they had provided. And how long did each of you see the forest? He asked. Oh, sorry, how long ago did each of you see the forest? 4 months ago, Rusty said, and then he scratched up his brow. As a matter of fact, it was 4 months ago this very day for me. What a coincidence, Annette said. I saw it exactly 2 months ago. Precisely 1 month ago for me, Judy said. 2 weeks, Jerry added. And how long did those apparitions last? Connor asked. Only lasted a few seconds at the castle, Rusty said. It was quick, but I would say a minute or two, Annette added. 15 minutes at least, Judy said. About 45 minutes, I suspect, Jerry added. Interesting, Connor said. So the sightings are happening faster and faster each time they appear, and they stay twice as long. If it continues with this pattern, that would put the next sighting at tonight, and it could stick around for an hour or two. I just wish we knew where it was going to be. And then an idea popped into Bree's head, and she gasped, startling both Jack and Goldilocks beside her. Actually, I think the location may be just as predictable as the time. Bree looked around the tunnel and snatched a map off of a sleeping homeless person. She spread it against the wall of the tunnel and had Jack and Goldilocks hold it in place. Mr. Oswald, what street was the National Bank on again? 44th and 5th Avenue, Jerry said. And Miss Harlow, where is Rockefeller Center located? Between 48th and 51st Streets, Judy said. And the Plaza Hotel? That's at 59th and 5th, Annette said. And Rusty, I know there are no streets in Central Park, but if Belvedere Castle were on a street, where would it be? Bree asked. Oh, that's easy, Rusty said. It's just north of 79th Street at Traverse. Bree pulled a marker out of her pocket and made a note of all the locations. And once she was done, she took a step back and she studied the map. Yeah, the streets are Traverse. It's funny because I can pinpoint all of these places in my head because I lived there for 20 years. So I'm like, do. Yeah, it's just what I thought, she said. The bridge first appeared at 79th Street at Belvedere Castle, next at the Plaza Hotel, exactly 20 blocks south of the castle, and after that, the forest appeared at Rockefeller Center, 10 blocks south of the castle, and finally it appeared at the National Bank on 44th Street, 5 blocks south of the castle. The bridge is traveling in a semi-straight line through New York City, and each time it appears, it covers half the amount of ground that it did before. So everything is a pattern, Connor said. That means that we can trace when and where the bridge will appear next. According to the formulas, that would place the next appearance tonight 2.5 blocks south of the National Bank on 44th Street. And Goldilocks gulped. All right, so what's located between 41st Street and 42nd Street? Rent. Sorry, just kidding. I mean, no. Well, sort of. Also McDonald's. Connor and Bree traced the map and their fingers arrived at the same spot at the same time. They exchanged a long, fearful glance before turning to the others. The New York Public Library, they said in unison. This practically confirms everything we've suspected, Bree said. Whoever took Alex to the library definitely knows about the bridge between the worlds, but this time, I don't think it's going anywhere. Just like the Sisters Grimm predicted, this might be the bridge's final stop. Tonight might be when the worlds collide. Connor's eyes filled with panic. Rusty, you gotta take us to the library. Now. Scary stuff, you guys, but she's still asleep, so let's keep going. It's weird because, like, so I have a terrible sense of direction. Like, if I didn't know you, I would have been convinced that those words were in my, that's very funny. This is the thing. So, like, I have, like, the world's worst sense of direction if I drive, right? But if I walk places, I have almost a photographic memory of directions. So because when I lived in New York City, I walked everywhere, I can literally tell you what is on every corner. Like, my brain is super weird, right? So like if you say, what happens if you walk from, like if you get out of the subway on 41st Street and Broadway, what do you see directly across from you? Well, there's a bar right there that's attached to a hotel, and right next to it is the Nederlander Theater. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like, but it was that way even before I lived in New York, Jen. So like, I don't have a good sense of direction in most of California, but if you take me to the area where I lived when I rode my bike the most, like when I was a preteen and I rode my bike everywhere, I have it like the back of my hand. So it's even before I lived in New York. Like if I go to Irvine where I was like 6th grade, 7th grade, I know it perfectly. So anywhere that I go, not in a car, my brain can clock it. It's very strange. No. All right, let's keep going because we're at chapter 9. Ooh, mine's the opposite if I drive, I know. Yeah, if I drive somewhere, I could drive somewhere 100 times and I still need a GPS. Is that awful? Like, it's bad. I don't know. Just a messed up brain, you know? Okay. You have the same thing on you? Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. My father-in-law is more like Jen. If he drives somewhere one time, memorized, done. Isn't that crazy? I could never, literally could never. Brain on autopilot because directions are on. That could be, but what about when I was young? When I learned to drive, we didn't have the directions on yet, and I still couldn't do it, Ray. Yeah, you need coffee too. We all need coffee. Because like Ray, you know, we were still using maps when we were teenagers, right? And then MapQuest in my 20s. Right? You left with a GPS. You were like, oh, okay. Anyway, I don't know, but let's keep going. We're on chapter 9. Chapter 9 is called The Scariest Villain of All. Hopefully she'll stay asleep for this whole one. Yeah, GPS for everything. I agree, Mary. Connor and his friends charged down the Calvin Coolidge Express tunnel as Rusty led them deeper into the abandoned subway. The homeless man ran so fast that he could barely keep his flashlight steady, even in the dark. Rusty, however, knew this tunnel like the back of his hand. Eventually, they arrived at the construction site of a small subway platform that had never been finished. Ladders, tools, paint buckets all remained untouched since the project was halted in the 1920s. See that hatch above the platform? Rusty asked, aiming his flashlight at the circular door in the ceiling. Climb through it, and that's going to take you into the lower level of the library. Thanks for bringing us here, Rusty, Connor said. If we're able to save my sister, it'll all be because of you. I wish I had some way to repay you. It's been a long time since I felt useful, the homeless man said with a smile. That's all the thanks I need. Good luck finding your sister, kid. Connor and his friends shook Rusty's hand and climbed into the unfinished platform. Jack retrieved the ladder and positioned it directly below the hatch. He climbed up the ladder and attempted to open it, but the door wouldn't budge. No, it's stuck, he called down. It's been nearly a century since that thing was open, Rusty said. It may need a good push. Taking his advice, Jack pressed his back against the hatch and pushed it with all his might. The door opened with a loud crunch and pieces of wood fell from the ceiling. Opening the hatch punched a large hole through the floorboards and the carpet above it. Jack climbed through the hole and helped the others through the floor into the library's lower level. The gang emerged inside the long room with colorful walls. It was filled with tiny bookshelves and miniature tables and chairs. Paintings and stuffed animals of classic literary characters smiled down at them from every corner. Oh my, Red said. I didn't realize this was a library for dwarves. This is the children's center, Bree said. There's a lot more than just this. How big is the library? Goldilocks asked. Well, it's 646,680 square feet, to be exact, Bree said. Hey. Hi. There are 4 levels with over 40 rooms open to the public. Her friends were surprised that she had the information so readily available. How do you know that? Red asked. Hi, smiley girl. You feel better now? Oh, you want mommy's glasses off? Oh. That's so silly. Why do you want mommy's glasses off? Mommy can't read with her glasses off. You want them off? You don't want them on anymore? Why? Big yawn. Who's a big yawning girl, huh? Yeah. Big stretchies. Yeah. You see, Mommy's reading. Mommy's reading. How do you know all that? Red asked. Oh, the plane had Wi-Fi, Bree said with a shrug. Any knowledge about the structure was useful to them, but Connor's stomach was... Are you being a bully? Why are you bullying Mommy? That's not so nice. That's not so nice. You gotta be a nice girl. Oh, big burp. Does that feel so good? Get it out. Better out than in. Yeah. Connor's stomach filled with knots once he heard how big the library was. Whoever had taken his sister had plenty of corners to lurk in. Should we split up and look for her? Jack asked. No, let's stay together, Connor said. I don't want to give Alex's kidnapper the chance to knock one of us off. Sorry, I've seen too many horror movies. We'll search each level, one room at a time, until... You are a silly banana. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you, silly girl? You can't take Mommy's glasses. That's so silly. Why are you silly, girl? It was, yeah, it was. Okay. Okay. Do you want to go in your chair and take some tape? There you go, my angel. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. On camera. Too funny. Too funny. All right. Where were we, my angel? Where were we? Connor's friends nodded and followed him out of the children's center. If they had any doubts about Alex's whereabouts, they quickly subsided as they stepped into the hallway. All the walls and floors of the library were covered in thick vines and ivy. The plants were covered in vibrant flowers that bloomed as Connor and his friends passed them. Exotic butterflies fluttered through the air from blossom to blossom. In just a matter of hours, Alex had enchanted the national landmark so that it resembled an ancient temple in the middle of a jungle. Strange, Jack observed. This reminds me of when the Enchantress attacked the Eastern Kingdom and covered it in plants just like these. Let's pray that's where the similarities end, Goldilocks said, and they walked in a tight group as they explored the lower level of the library. Jack gripped his axe and Goldilocks drew her sword. Red clung to the can of Febreze as they went. With all their eyes together, there wasn't an inch of the lower level that they didn't scan. Once the lower level had been searched... Oh, you're doing a great job, sweetheart. Are you playing a song for us? Can you say, la, 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 la? Pretty close. That's pretty close. Can you go, la, 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 la? You'd rather chew on it. That's fair. I'll let it, I mean, listen, who am I to judge? Okay, yeah. La, 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 la. Okay, that'll work. Once the lower level had been searched, they slowly moved up the stone staircase to the first floor. They searched behind every pillar, beneath every archway of the hall, and looked through the aisles of merchandise in the gift shop, under all the desks in the state-of-the-art education center, but they found nothing out of the ordinary besides the vines and the ivy. They journeyed to the next floor of the spacious structure and searched all the galleries, corridors, and research rooms. Once that level had been inspected, they climbed the stairs to the top level. She's holding her toy up in like, victory. Is this so nice? Is that a good toy? Yeah, it is a good toy, huh? Is it shake? Oh, you want to drop it? That's not so nice. Should I show everybody your toy? Wow. So nice, huh? It's so nice. They journeyed to the next floor of the spacious structure and searched all the galleries, corridors, and research rooms. Once that level had been inspected, they climbed the stairs to the top level. They found portraits and murals, candelabras and statues, but not a trace of Alex anywhere. Soon, the only room left to search was one. Connor and his friends gathered at the doors and took a deep breath before going inside. This was it. The Rose Main Reading Room was the largest and most recognizable room in the New York Public Library. Although Connor and Bree had never seen it in person, they instantly remembered seeing this in movies and in television. The room was filled with dozens of hanging chandeliers and 2 rows of wide tables. The high ceiling was made of beautiful wood carvings that framed painted murals of cloudy skies. The walls were lined with arched windows and 2 levels of bookshelves. However, all the shelves were empty, because the books were floating magically through the air, like thousands of balloons. At the far end of this long room, between the rows of tables, they found Alex asleep on the floor. As soon as he laid eyes on her, Connor ran to his sister's side and scooped her up in his arms. Her face was paler than he had ever seen, and her skin felt cold as ice. "Alex, it's me. It's Connor," he said. "We found you, and we've come to take you home." "Oh, good job. Good job getting the tape off, but we can't put it in our mouth, right? We just play with it." "Yeah, you can take it off." "She won't wake up unless I tell her to wake up." Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, darn it. I messed up. Sorry about that, you guys. Connor brushed the hair out of Alex's face, but she didn't open her eyes. "Alex, can you hear me?" he said. He gave her a gentle nudge, but his sister didn't open her eyes or even move a muscle. Connor listened to her chest to make sure she was breathing, and then he checked her pulse. "She's alive," he said, "but just barely." "Why isn't she responding?" Bree asked. "She must be under some sort of spell," Connor said, and he tapped the side of her face. "Alex, you have to fight this off so we can help you. Who's doing this to you? Who's making you enchant things and attack people?" "Oh, she won't wake up unless I tell her to wake up." Connor, Bree, Jack, Goldilocks, and Red all turned to the other side of the room and discovered they weren't alone. A woman in a long black cloak with red lips and horns like a ram appeared out of thin air. "Marina," Goldilocks said, "it's you, and you're the one behind all of this." Just the sight of her filled Red with rage. She charged towards the witch with her fists raised. "You no good, grass-eating, utter-sucking, hoof-stomping, wedding-crashing, friend-stealing piece of fertilizer," she yelled. "How dare you take my fiancé and my friend? I'm gonna rip those hideous horns right off your..." But Marina waved her hand. "I know, you're mad with Red, huh? Yeah, we're all mad at Marina, honey. I get it. Yeah, no, it's worth being angry. This is a moment to be angry. I agree." "Yeah, side with Red this time. We're not always on Red's side, but this is a time to be on Red's side." "I know. I know. Tell me all about it, my angel. Pasta la pio." She's doing this right now. She's doing her Italian hands. Are you doing Italian hands, my angel? Pasta la pio. Yeah? You think that's funny? Is that so silly? Marina waved her hand like she was swatting at a fly, and Red went soaring across the room and landed on the second bookshelf. Whoa, she threw Red. Terrible, right? Red used the railing to get to her feet, but the metal bars magically wrapped around her body and held her in place. Marina waved her hand at the others, and they too flew to the railing beside Red and were also restrained by its metal bars. Connor tried to hold on to his sister as he was forced through the air, but she slipped out of his arms and rolled back to the floor. Oh my gosh, it's terrible, honey. "I must say, I am impressed," Marina said. "I figured you might follow us, but I never expected you to make it inside the building." "We know what you're doing here," Bree said. "We know all about the bridge between the worlds, and the witches plan to cross through it and conquer the other world." "But you won't get away with it," Connor said. "You and the witches won't stand a chance against this world." Oh, it's totally a thing. We just do it by accident, Anya. Like, it's not just a cliche. Everyone just does it. Yeah. It's like inborn. She just does it. Really? Is that so? Yeah. She said, yeah. What else do you have to tell everyone? Really? And then what? Okay, I can see how that would happen. I know. It's terrible what she's doing. I know, I agree with you. Mama agrees with you. Yes, I do. I totally agree. 100% agree. You'll never hear me argue this point. Yeah, get that tape off. "But you won't get away with it," Connor said. "You and the witches won't stand a chance against this world." "Well, of course not."
Marina said. That's why we cursed your sister. Now that we're in control of her powers, dominating the other world will be so much easier. By the way, Alex, it's time to wake up now. Our guests will be arriving soon. Alex levitated off the floor and onto her feet. She opened her eyes and they began to glow like lightning. Her hair rose above her head and flickered like the flames of a slow-motion fire. Once she was awake, all the books floating through the air suddenly dropped and rained down on the reading room. What have you done to her? Connor yelled. Oh, isn't it obvious? Marina asked. We cursed her, just like we cursed the enchantress. What are you talking about? He asked. Esmea wasn't cursed. She became the enchantress because she was greedy, selfish, and evil. Every woman has an evil enchantress inside her. All it takes is a little curse to bring it out, Marina said. Your sister's no exception. I don't believe you, Connor said. Wow, that was so good. Can Mommy have that piece? Thank you. Thank you, my angel. Good getting that tape off. What kind of magic could even do such a thing? Actually, it's kind of an interesting story, Marina said. You see, years and years ago, the Snow Queen and the Sea Witch discovered the other world around the same time as the fairies. While the late fairy godmother and the fairy council traveled back and forth spreading stories and granting wishes in the other world, the witches got together and formed a plan to conquer it. The Snow Queen and the Sea Witch weren't powerful enough to do it on their own, so they cursed little Esmea with the dust made from the glass of an evil magic mirror. It got in Esmea's eyes and lungs and cursed her to feel anger, sorrow, jealousy tenfold, turning her into the enchantress that we all remember today. Wow. The Snow Queen and the Sea Witch were planning to use Esmea as a weapon against the other world, but sadly, Esmea perished before they had the chance. Once the enchantress was dead, the Snow Queen and the Sea Witch set their sights on Alex. After a couple of attempts to curse her, they realized how much stronger she was than Esmea. That's crazy, right, honey? That's crazy. Is that so crazy? It is crazy. It took over 10 times the amount of dust for this curse to even stick. Wow. Can you get this one? Can you get this tape? This one right here? Can you grab it? This one's a little harder because it goes over the side. Can you get it anyway? Can you pull? It's harder because it's curved. Do you see? Yeah, but it's good. It's a good challenge. That's why Alex destroyed the witch's brew and attacked the fairy council, Connor said, understanding it for the first time. She wasn't having difficulty controlling her powers because she was overwhelmed. She was being cursed. Yeah, honey, yeah. Oh, you're such a good little detective, the witch said. Luckily, the Snow Queen and the Sea Witch learned from their mistakes with Esmea. This time, they hexed the dust so they'd have total control over whoever ingested it. Now your sister's one of the most powerful fairies to ever grace the known worlds, and she's a creature of rage, torment, and despair. Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible, honey. Can you say, oh no? Oh no. Here, do you want your dolly? You want this dolly? Here's your dolly. So nice. Nana brought you this nice dolly, huh? Say thank you, Nana. Thank you, Nana. Nana. Oh, hiccups. Okay. Connor and his friends were livid. They fought against the metal bars restraining them, but it was no use. You won't win, he shouted. It's going to take much more than my sister and a bunch of witches to take over the other world. They have armies and weapons you can't even dream of. They'll wipe you out the moment you step outside this library. Whoa. Sounds scary, huh, honey? Yeah. Marina rolled her eyes as if she had heard this. Okay, sweetheart. Okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Can you pull this off? What's this? Can you get this? Look, what's this? What is this? What's this? What is it? Is it tape? Can you pull it off? Can you get it off? Hiccups. What about this one? Or this one? Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, let's take a 2-second break and we'll open the advent calendar. Maybe that will be more exciting for you. Okay, let's open the advent calendar. Maybe that will be more exciting. Okay, we'll do it right now. let's do day 2 of our book advent calendar. What mini book are we gonna get today? Is this more exciting for you? Yeah? Okay, let's see what we got today. Should we open it? Yeah? Can you say, yeah? Yeah! All right, close enough. Okay, where's day 2? One was here. Oh, up here. Day 2. Yeah. You just got one of these books? Yeah, it's very cute. It's very cute. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Day 2 is Mad Libs. So cool. It's tiny Mad Libs, honey. Wow. Mad Scientist Mad Libs. So cute. Oh my gosh. It's like actually... All right. Quick review. See what we can read here. In case you have forgotten what adjectives, adverbs, nouns, and verbs are, here's a quick review. That's funny. That's funny, honey. Should we see what the... Oh, man. This is brutally small. How to Get My Look by Albert Einstein. I know, it's silly, right? Hello. I am a famous German occupation. Give me an occupation, you guys. Somebody throw out an occupation. Oh, I should tell you those first before. Okay, yeah, wait. Oh. Always appreciate. You know what? We should do this tomorrow, and I should. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go in 1 second, honey. I know you're done. You're done for the day. Car salesman. I'm a famous German car salesman. We should definitely do those Mad Libs tomorrow. Okay, well, I'm glad we managed to get some reading in. I know that, you know, at least we got some stuff done, right, honey? Okay. Oh, page number. Yes, sorry. We got to page 168. And then tomorrow we will keep going, right, honey? Okay, you want to say bye-bye? Say bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Say bye-bye. Very good way.